So, what exactly is crack cocaine? Is it really as bad as it's portrayed to be? We'll find out. Crack is simply another form of cocaine, which comes from the leaves of a coca plant. After mixing powdered cocaine with a weak base, such as ammonia or sodium bicarbonate, it changes composition, removing the salt, and a solid is produced. This solid has a much lower melting point than cocaine, allowing it to be smoked as opposed to snorted. In fact, it's actually called crack cocaine because of the sound that it makes when heated. But why would you smoke it? Well, the lungs are actually an extremely quick and effective way of getting something into the bloodstream. You basically cross the blood-brain barrier. When smoke meets the large surface area in your lungs, it slips right through that membrane and heads straight up into your brain in as little as 8 seconds. This is much faster and much more intense than the effects of snorted cocaine, which generally take roughly around 10 minutes to reach the brain. However, once in the brain, crack cocaine are basically effectively identical, and initially the users will feel energized, alert, and much more aware of their surroundings. In the brain, crack effectively begins to release large amounts of dopamine, which is a chemical often associated with feelings of pleasure and euphoria. This dopamine travels between brain cells called neurons and binds to the receptors that trigger the good feelings. Now, normally this dopamine will be reabsorbed back into the neuron by a dopamine transporter. However, crack and cocaine alter this process and it attaches to the transporter, which ends up blocking the reabsorption, allowing dopamine to build up and continually stimulate the receptor. As a result, you feel, well, really good for around 10 minutes, but soon after, the dopamine levels in the brain plummet, which ends up causing an extreme low and often feelings of very intense depression, which is why many users typically smoke more to reach that same high again. Unfortunately, these dopamine levels can take a long time to replenish naturally, which basically contributes to physical and psychological dependence or even addiction, as well as increased irritability, restlessness, and paranoia.